Hello, I'm Jane Christopher, Senior HR Business Partner at Citrix. I'm going to be discussing with you about a resilient employee experience for the future of hybrid work. Before I do so, though, I wanted to share some data with you about what Citrix employees have been saying since the pandemic and how we're going to build this into our hybrid working for 2021 and beyond. From the surveys we run, it shows that we have a preference where 66% of our employees have preferred this hybrid and flexible working environment, and 25% of our employees actually would like to work remotely 100% of the time. We had a big 90% of our employees that felt that they were actually more productive from home or as productive than in the office, and they feel that the teams could really benefit from this increased flexibility in the future hybrid way of working. And really importantly, to set the scene for this session, 86% of our employees felt that they already have and had their support for the future to work in more of a remote way for the future. When we look at all of this data and what our employees are saying, we've had to look at how we build an employee experience strategy for the future for Citrix and how we use our own technology and our own leadership to build that and move it forward. In doing so, we've looked at the employee experience for all businesses, but for Citrix, and we focused on the three areas of culture, technology, making the right technology choices for our employees, and the physical space. So we've been all remote working, but actually for the future, allowing our employees to make the choice for the right space to be work and be successful and to do the work they enjoy. Culture has been really key with the employee experience, and it's every moment from when the employee looks at joining the business, to interviewing, to onboarding, and then every part of that experience in the company and the success from promotion or business outcomes. What we found with employee experiences, we've got to look at individual progress. We've got to listen to our employees and their feedback. And we need to let people know we have empathy around that. It's about them insights, about understanding, are we allowing our employees to do the best work they can? Are we allowing them to have the tools, to have flexibility, to be able to get to the right tools, files, to collaborate well with their team members? And that's been really key. We need to keep building on this for the future of employee experience and its success as we move forward to this hybrid way of working. And what's been important is we've got to do this in partnership. It can no longer be employee experience, just the business strategy led by HR. It's really got to be led through a partnership of HR, IT, and facilities, and the overall leadership team. What I wanted to discuss with you all is how we've looked at this for our people and resilience for the future. Now, employee experience can hit so many areas, and we can use it to leverage new talent for the future. We can look at it for diversity. But for this session, I really want to focus on how we build it in terms of our culture, our leadership, but also the wellness of our employees. And I think from every sector, this has been really top of mind throughout 2020 and will be from beyond. And it's not just the wellness physically, it's the mental wellness and also the digital wellness. If I look at Citrix, we had the experiment the same as everyone else. We were used to some employees working remotely, but all of a sudden, we had to move to 100% remote working, like many organizations. And we had to adapt quickly and what that meant for our culture and the experience for our employees. And what I'd say is over a matter of weeks, we really adapted well to help them still have an experience that helped them get their work done, but work towards what they needed in a personal note for their families and their own well-being as well. And at Citrix, we still hired, throughout 2020, we've still managed to hire just over 1,650 employees globally. 350 of these were in EMEA. And we needed to make sure we adapted to give resilience and the right culture for these people that are joining and also for the people that are still with us. And the culture is important because also we have so many different types of scenarios. We had to adapt because we had people that had relocated to different countries or different locations for roles. We had people that were living on their own, people that had caring responsibilities or children homeschooling. So this was why culture was our first focal point and really key for us to keep excelling at employee experience. We wanted to make sure that we build a culture that isn't just an office-based culture anymore, that can be done whether you're working virtually or from home. And the ways that we did that was we introduced education to our management and to our employees about it's okay to mix work calls and still ask them a personal social questions as well. Questions such as how are you? How are you really? How's your family doing at this time? To make it more authentic and actually checking in that our staff are okay when we can't see them face to face. We also wanted people to feel that they can adapt and focus on what they need to do and make them choices. So trust has been really key to our culture. And we wanted to train them to know that it's okay to have some uncertainty, to change at last minute, and that we recognise even that it's important to recognise the successes of our employees. And we wanted to be inclusive and transparent as well. And that was done by top down. So from our CEO down to our EMEA leaders, sharing personal stories about how they've adapted to this new hybrid way of working, whether that's putting regular breaks in, putting in barriers or clear definitions of when they start or finish their day so they can still have time for their families or personal needs. And trust has to be at the centre of this. A big area for us has also been using sustainability and corporate citizenship to keep building on our culture. So sustainability is really important for Citrix, both in our own solutions to our customers, but also to our own employee experience, because people want to know how we're making the difference to the environment, how we can save time and costs and show we give people back time. But I think what's really important as well is corporate citizenship. And this is giving back to communities that aren't as fortunate of people maybe that work in technology to make the difference. At Citrix in 2020, we converted a lot of these opportunities to virtual volunteering, which has been really positively received. We've had feedback from employees that they felt really energized, and it was something different from their working day from home Monday to Friday to give back to communities. But we've also used it to bring fun into an environment that really needs it. If you need a resilient workforce, you need to let employees still have fun at work. An example of that I'd like to share is within the UK. We have a partnership with the Prince's Trust, and we moved forward this year, even though everything moved to no office and remote working and COVID, to still go ahead and run this Million Makers programme, which allowed us to get 15 of our employees, who are a mixture of new starters, potentials that wanted to engage with other departments, to get together, do a Dragon's Den, so to get some funding from the charity at the Prince's Trust, but then roll out events over the whole 6-month period, the second half of 2020, to raise money for the Prince's Trust charity. And we found this has been really key to our culture. It's allowed us to still have fun at work, to integrate together when it's not purely just about business. And examples have been virtual race nights. We've had our virtual Christmas party last week through this event, a gin tasting tour that was done virtually, but also supporting employees have done amazing events to raise money for the charity, such as virtual bike racing from London to Scotland. And we've launched an e-book, bedtime book for the Christmas period to raise money for the charity. And I think that then links to the mental wellness about resilience. We've been really conscious of people going through different cycles. And I think now most businesses from any sector know that this has to be a focus area for 2021 and beyond. We were lucky at Citrix, we had focus in this area before. We've been looking at mindfulness and mental health for a while, but we've really ramped this up in 2020 to support our employees. We run webinars where our own employees shared stories about difficult times, from anxiety through even alcohol issues, to be open and aware and let it be known to our employees it's okay not to be okay. And if you're not okay at that point, Citrix have lots of tools and resources available to you to help. So we launch resources such as homeschool learning tools, dealing with anxiety, crisis, so our employees could use these as and when they needed to. We included physical workshops as well, some exercises, and I think all of this has really helped to support our employees. We've also really got employees involved in that and the feedback as well. So we haven't just assumed, we've listened to what they've said through surveys and reacted and shared new programs from our learning and development team to really tackle some of the situations that we're hearing about. And a lot of that has been about burnout, the fear of missing out. And we've launched courses to help in these areas and to connect people with different areas of the business as well. And I've mentioned before, but storytelling and sharing has been really key to some of that successes. There's been some great blogs that we've put on, sharing internally within Citrix. And I think hearing it from individuals you work for allows our employees to be more open for the future. And what I'm really excited about is how we're using our own Citrix technology for the future. So our Citrix workspace are looking at micro apps, including wellness areas that we're going to be looking at from 2021 and beyond. And this is going to be great for our customers, for Citrix employees as well, that we can start bringing it into our day-to-day life. So in the workspace we use is already using AI to remove the mundane tasks, to let us do work that we really love, which we know is great for employee experience. We could also add wellness apps into that remind you to take regular breaks, that gives you supportive or inspirational articles to read each day, that helps you build more flexibility. So this is more to watch out for the future that I'm really, really looking forward to being part of. And then digital wellness. I think this is an area we're going to be hearing more and more about. We know that we need to both upskill people, be ready for this digital transformation. I was in a meeting with local universities the other day, and it's been either fed back from students that wasn't used to using digital tools as much, especially in more traditional studies. All of a sudden, they've been upskilled by the pandemic because they've had to get used to using collaboration tools, virtual lectures. I think this is the same for most organisations. Whatever role we're in now, whatever sector, we need and have a responsibility to take all our employees on this digital transformation, and also make and show them that there can be fun within being able to collaborate and use tools virtually and digitally, but also show them the value. By having the right technology, you should be able to balance your work better, focus on the jobs you want to do more, and have all the tools readily available, whether you're working from home or if you're working from the office. And then the employer's responsibility is to make sure that they're giving the right technology to allow a secure way of working, to allow a way of working that maybe lets you use multiple devices and from wherever you want to work as well, whether you're commuting or traveling or an event. It doesn't just have to be the home or the office. I think this is a big focus for lots of companies now, making them right technology choices to enhance a really good employee experience that allows that resilience and hybrid work. And we really need to focus on encouraging and supporting our leadership and employees to not burn out, to not always have an always on culture. It's okay to log off, not be available, to set some boundaries that allow you to do the best work when you're working, but also time to recharge away from technology and not always being on for your work and having time to do stuff that you enjoy, both outside of work, but with your family. And I think the digital wellness, again, needs to be reinforced with work no longer being a singular place. It has to be flexible and it has to be driven by the employee, not just the company as well. What works for them, their personal situation that can make them the best person they need to be to get the work they enjoy doing and to be motivated and empowered. And I think all these three areas fundamentally need to work by strong leadership. And this is the final area I want to speak about. Leadership that need to connect in with their employees. They need to use different tools now, not just rely on email, but pick the phone up, use collaboration tools, recognise formally, recognise individually. I think this is going to be a real big priority for 2021. And lead through trust and creativity, not focusing on just like the hours they're working or how long they're logged on for, but a real shift to letting people be set up for success and measuring on business outcomes for the future. I think employee experience is going to have to focus on the business outcomes and how they got there. And this is going to really open up opportunities for people to do different types of work, maybe lateral moves, different promotions, because we shouldn't be so traditional, or maybe the people that are just based in the office. Hopefully this will allow people to have different opportunities because location won't be a key dictator on maybe where that role needs to be based. And that opens up so many opportunities for the future and so many opportunities for our staff and employees to upskill and learn new talent for the future. And we all know that talent and skill shortages is going to be a big problem for companies over the next 10 years that we all need to play a role in to help upskilling people, ourselves, the workforce that we support. And I think wrapped into all of this as well, the opportunity from having a more hybrid way of work is going to really open up a more diverse and inclusive culture and workforce that we can hire, from hiring, from promotions like I've mentioned, but just, across countries, across the country you're working, we need to be more open of the types of people we can bring in the business and the new way of having to work versus the more traditional in the office, Monday to Friday. I think just to wrap up on this session, I wanted to summarise about the 3 key areas that I see for a hybrid way of working. One needs to be individual progress is at the centre. So these technology experiences, they can enhance or detract. So we need to make sure we get the right technology to allow our people to get the things they want to do done well, and then give them the space to be innovative and learn and create. And we've got to also have that trust and empowerment that I've mentioned many times for our leaders to embrace their workforce and move them forward in a style that's for now, but also for the future. We have to keep listening. This can't just be dictated downwards. We've got to listen to the voice of our employees. It's got to be in time, and we've got to keep innovating our training and development to be virtual and in person eventually, but linked to these skills that we need for the future. And we've got to allow process improvement across the businesses to remove these barriers and use AI and our technology to enhance. I think finally, and I mentioned at the beginning, we've got to have a partnership. Employee experience can't just be a HR priority anymore. It's got to be a business priority, and IT facilities and HR need to really collaborate, have joint goals to get there. And finally, by doing that, we can all accelerate to the future and open up a lot more opportunities for our future workforce. Thank you very much. And if you'd like any further information, please reach out.